Summertime in South Dakota. Summertime. Hope everybody enjoyed their bye weekend. Excited to get an opportunity to come back and play a game inside of our stadium with our fans. It's also a salute to service game for us. Want to take an opportunity from everybody inside of Tennessee football. Thank all the men and women that have served our country, the sacrifices that they've made, their families have made, that allow us to live the life that we do and play the game that we do. So appreciate them very much. We'll be wearing the smoky gray uniforms this weekend as well, and looking forward to going and playing and competing. Open it up.
You mentioned competing. What do you want to see most out of your team coming out of this open date?
Yeah, I want to see growth. That's a lot of different things in a lot of different areas, but this is our next opportunity. Play hard, play smart for 60 minutes, play with discipline. That's alignment, assignment, eyes, keys, technique, and go execute defensively. Win the line of scrimmage and get off the field. Do a great job on the back end, matching things out offensively, line of scrimmage. Play with execution out on the perimeter, and special teams go win.
Coach, after a bye week, what goes into keeping your team engaged for this game, especially with Florida, the Swamp next week? How do you kind of help them not look at this as a look at you?
Man, this is our next opportunity to play. There's a lot of areas that we got to get better in. Got good work in the middle part of last week, and this is our next opportunity. What happens after, that's after. You can't control any of that. So same thing that we talk about, consistently in our program, all phases of the year, control and win right now.
Right now, Joey's leading the SEC in passing. He's led up, I think, the whole season. He threw for a lot of yards at his previous stop. This is a different level. Are there some things with the passer that's just translatable one level to the other?
Well, I think all of his experiences, defense structures that he's seen certainly helped him adjust quickly to what we're doing. To perform well at the quarterback position, he'll tell you it takes the guys around him. Starts with the O-line, pass protection, your running backs and tight ends being a part of that, and then takes guys going and winning in the perimeter. And certainly excited about a lot of what Joey's done and what we've done offensively on that side of it. There's still room and growth left out there for us, and that's what we got to go get.
Josh, look, Braylon Staley, at least production-wise, has been on kind of a heater for the past month or so, and been producing sort of at a consistent rate now. Did you know going into the season that he could be this kind of a player, as a redshirt freshman, or has he been a pleasant surprise in some ways?
We expected him to play at a really high level, and that was part of our decision-making in the offseason as a staff, and I say that as a young guy, how he grew throughout the course of the last season, during the regular season, his playoff prep, expected that he would take another jump. And, when we got back in January, his focus, his preparation, we expected him, because of that growth and how consistent he was every day, to play at a really high level. And, Mike's in that same boat too, how both of those guys came back.
For Davis Sanders Jr., obviously a huge role to come in as a freshman, but what do you like about how he's grown the most and been able to handle that responsibility?
Yeah, I think a big part for him is just how he's handled adversity. Before week one, all of a sudden he encounters injury and is able to battle through that. That's hard for everybody, certainly for a young guy. All the work that he's put in has allowed him to prepare and get ready to go play at a really high level. And this game's not perfect, but his ability to respond and come back and compete and continue to grow speaks volumes about who he is, and also where he's going to continue to grow inside of this game.
Coach, obviously every team is different every year, but last year you have one of the best defenses in the SEC. This year that's not the case. You're scoring more points than anybody. How does that changed things for you as a play caller, or as a game planner? Is it drastically different or not?
I say it every year. I say it week by week too. You play the same game 10 times on the same day. There's so many variables in this game. It's going to unfold differently. I think that's why you got to appreciate the win whenever it comes, however it comes. But certainly your team forms an identity, and it changes, a little bit how you function and operate in some of the situational calls.
Your defense had maybe their best or one of their best tackling days against Oklahoma. A lot of your players said there was a different level of emphasis on tackling going into that game. Was there anything different in terms of your preparation from a defensive standpoint for tackling, and how do you build off that moving forward?
Yeah, I think, tackling happens in a positive way because of body position. And some of that stems from your alignment and eyes allowing you to get into a good position. There's things that we do during the course of every week. There's some things that we added during that week, some things we did this past week as well. Again, just placing an emphasis on those things, and hopefully you want it to correlate to game day. It did against Oklahoma, but we're going to need that as we go down the stretch.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about your your two young quarterbacks. How, when they don't get as much practice time as they did during August, how can they grow, and how do you guys as a staff evaluate how they are growing throughout the course of the season?
Yeah, the way we practice, we try to get, our twos at every position a lot of work. It's hard to get all of your quarterbacks the amount of work that in a perfect world you would want. But those guys got a ton of work last week, and when they get an opportunity, expect them to go play at a really high level.
As a follow-up to my tackling question, how hard is it to balance the contact that you have in practice in season? And is that something you guys do differently every year depending on your team, or is that sort of kind of how you have to do it in this day and age in terms of limit that?
Well, it is different. You're limited in the number of bodies that you have, even from a year ago with roster limitations. There's always going to be a balance of what you need to do to be prepared for game day, but also getting them to game day. So, that fluctuates year to year based on the health and where you're at with your given roster and what you're doing and how you're performing.
Joey clearly has a ton of trust in his wide receivers. How are you maybe helping him to find a better balance between giving his guys a chance and then maybe either throwing it away or taking the sack?
Yeah, I think, some of the plays that we would all want back, some of that's fundamentals. Some of that's, seeing rotation. Some of it's, stepping into the throw. So it's a combination of all things. There's a trickle-down effect, too. It takes all 11 and starts with your pass protection and it's your O-line, but your backs. Everything plays a part in him playing on a competitive edge because you have to go make plays. You have to let your playmakers go make plays, but you got to take care of the football as well. And so it's a combination of all those things. Thank you all. Have a great day.